determining the high frequency response. Similar process like the low frequency response, the high frequency function which characterize the high frequency response of the amplifier is a general form is this one. Fh, H means high frequency, S domain is equal to 1 upon S divided by omega Z1, omega Z2 or omega Zn. And the denominator for the pole 1 plus S upon omega P1, omega P2 and so on, where omega Z, this one is the omega Z, may be positive, negative or infinite number for high frequency 0, and this one is the high frequency poles which are the positive and real number. Now in many cases zeros are either at infinity or at such high frequencies that they are of little importance in determining the omega h. What is the meaning of this line? If you remember in the previous module analog electronics 1, when we are solving the numerical related to the poles and zeros, then we have drawn so many structures for the poles and zeros location. So from there, if you go and check again, then you will get some idea about the location of poles and zeros and its transfer function. From that section, I have taken this conclusion that in many cases the zeros are either at infinity or at such high frequencies that they are of little importance in determining the omega h. But usually one of the high frequency poles, say omega P1, has much lower frequency. What is meaning? I am showing you with the help of graph. Is here. See, there are so many high frequencies can exist according to the poles or zeros diagram or that structure. So it may be here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, but we are more concentrated that frequency which is just near at this point of minus 3 dB, somewhere here, which is just or exactly at the point touching the minus 3 dB. Here. So one of the high frequency poles, say omega P1, has much lower frequency, you can say lowest frequency than any other poles, because there are so many poles, but we are interested for the lowest frequency. So which is just near that line which is touching the minus 3 dB. So the frequency is close to midband, means from where midband is started, from minus 3 dB to backside. So Fh is equal to 1 upon 1 plus S omega P1. So this is the format if you have one high frequency pole at the lowest values. But if there are more than one frequencies, then we will use this type of formula. If only one, then this one formula. And using this one, we can calculate the omega h or Fh. What I am doing here, I am trying to solve the circuit or solution to find the Fh, because in the previous lectures we find FL already. Now I'm going to find the Fh so that we can calculate the bandwidth. Fh minus FL. Yeah, this one. So I started from here in today's lecture. So there are two types of formula. If you have only one pole, then this formula will be valid. If we have more than one, then we can use this type of formula. The same pattern like the low frequency response. How to find this one? Opposite of this one. Sorry, opposite of the low frequency response. In this one, what happens? The circuit is analyzed considering one capacitor at a time while replacing all other capacitors with open circuit. Be careful about the low frequency response. This one is the high frequency. In this one, when we are looking from one capacitor, we are replacing all other capacitor with open circuit, and then we find the resistance looking from that particular capacitor, and then we can use this formula Fh equal to 1 upon 2 pi C1 R1 C2 R2 C3 R3 and so on. So using this formula, we will try to find the frequency Fh. The first example for today's lecture is this one. High frequency response calculation. It is a one example. In the next lecture, I will show you the other 3 or 4 examples. So in this example, a common source FET amplifier has the following high frequency equivalent circuit. See, here I am showing you the internal structure directly. But in the assessment, I will give you the BJT structure or MOSFET structure. Then you have to draw the internal circuit like this one. So this is the circuit given to you already, because this is the first time for you for the high frequency. So it is easy to understand the internal circuitry. For this circuit, you have to find the mid-band voltage gain, AM. What is this mid-band? I am going upside. This one. Copy. Paste. In this section, what is the question? Question is that to find the mid-band voltage gain using this circuit, means find this AM, mid-band voltage gain AM, and high frequency minus 3 dB. High frequency means this side. Minus 3 dB corner frequency means the frequency at which this AM touches the minus 3 dB. So this one. So it means in this circuit we have to find AM and FH. How to calculate this one? See, first calculate the AM. When you are calculating the AM, the formula or theory, I told you already in the first or second lecture of this module, that for the mid-band, for this mid-band, the frequency range, in this frequency range, all the capacitance, maybe coupling, bypass or internal capacitances have negligible effect in this section. So we have to neglect the capacitances. So if we are neglecting this one or removing this one and this one, so this section will not come into a part of this side. So only the remaining section is V signal, R signal, R in, and this gate terminal and source terminal, something like this one. This one means we open this one, we open this one, so gate connected here, source, and then this section, left hand side section, and then right hand side section, something like this one. Don't see the full solution in the first attempt. Come for this circuit. In this circuit we have to find the AM, means voltage gain. Voltage gain means AM means mid-band voltage gain. Output voltage divided by input voltage or signal voltage. So VO divided by V signal. VO divided by V signal. How to find this VO upon V signal? You can think about this formula, VO upon VGS into VGS upon V signal. Or you can say VO divided by the voltage at this terminal multiplied by voltage at this terminal divided by V signal. We have done this type of process in the previous modules. Now using this formula, in this formula what happens? VO upon VGS, VO upon VGS. This is the VO, this is the VGS. So what is the gain, voltage gain for this section is, think about the analog electronics 1 lecture in which we are using the formula minus GM into RD. So similar like that, we can get the voltage gain here is minus GM into resistance, which is in this section, is R dash L. Minus GM into R dash L is the voltage gain for this section. Now voltage gain VGS upon V signal means VGS upon V signal. You remember that potential divider rule which I explained so many times in the previous modules. You can use other theory also. You can get the VGS upon V signal will be resistance looking from VGS divided by the resistance looking from V signal is R signal plus R in. So that is the formula, R in divided by R in plus R signal. All the values are given to you, so you can find the value for AM is minus 10.8 is the AM. Now, so this first section is done. Now calculate the high frequency, means this one. To calculate the high frequency, what we are doing, we will use the OCTC method, means open circuit time constant method, in which if we are considering any one capacitor, we will ignore or replacing all other capacitor with open circuit, and then calculate the resistance looking from this capacitor, and then we will put the frequency and other values in this formula, in this one. How to determine what is the circuit is this one. Now we are going to discuss this one, means we are going to calculate the resistor looking from here first. Then in the second case, we will look for the resistor looking from this capacitor. So first, to calculate the resistor looking from this one, we have to make it open circuit. So it is open. So the remaining one is V signal, R signal, R in. So the capacitor looking from here will be parallel combination of R signal and V in, like this one. You can read all these theories are written here. So the resistance looking from CGS is a RGS, is parallel combination of these two. So this is the parallel combination formula. Values are given to you, so you can find the value of RGS. What is the CGS? Is given to you, 1 picofarad. What is the resistance looking from CGS? Is RGS. You calculated. So using these two values, RGS and CGS, which is given to you, you can get the open circuit time constant tau G is equal to CGS into RGS. You can find the tau GS, means time constant for GS. Now come for the second capacitor, means calculate the resistance looking from this capacitor. Calculate the resistance looking from this capacitor. Open this one. So if you will see the circuit, then it will be a little bit difficult to solve or to calculate the resistance looking from this capacitor. In this type of circuitry, we are using the Miller's theorem, because it is little bit difficult to calculate the resistance looking from here. So for that purpose, you can use the Miller theorem. I will show you that Miller theorem in the next example, but here I am showing you the second process. In that second process, what happens? Going back, this one is open circuit. So what is the remaining here is a 100 and this 420 kilo ohm, because I am opening this one. So the remaining is R signal and this one R in, these two resistances, or you can say parallel combination of this one, or directly you can say the parallel combination of these two is 80.8. and the right hand side, see, I am discussing the second condition, the resistance looking from here. In the left right hand side, second section will be GM into VGS and R dash L. So the circuit will look like this one. I am looking from here. So to calculate the resistance looking from this capacitor, you can use the Miller theorem, means you can break that capacitor into section, or the second process which I am telling you here, because Miller theorem I will discuss in the next example. What we can do here, the another process is put the test current in place of capacitor. Apply a test current, for example IX, and then calculate the voltage across these nodes, across these points. Then we can find the RGT is equal to Vx upon Ix. RGT means resistance looking from this capacitor, which was here like the previous circuit. RGD means resistance between gate to drain is equal to Vx upon Ix. Ix we are applying. Now the only remaining work is to calculate the Vx. Don't see the full solution altogether. So see on the left hand side, G, this is the G node, gate. On this side what happens, what will be the current is here is Ix. So this current Ix, you can write the formula minus VGS divided by R dash, because VGS is the voltage across this one, R dash is given to you, you calculated already, it is 80.8. So this Ix you can calculate, or you can use the formula minus VGS upon R dash. or you can calculate the value of VGS if it is required. Now on the second side, at the node of drain, what is the equation? See, this Ix is coming here. It is divided into two sections. One section is this side, GM-VGS. Second section is this one. So Ix is equal to GM-VGS as it is, plus this line, means current in this section. What is the current in this section? Is the voltage divided by resistance. Resistance is R dash L. What is the voltage in this section? What is the voltage in this section? How to calculate? See, here it is VGS plus Vx. So the voltage here will be VGS plus Vx. So the total formula for this section, right hand side section, will be VGS plus Vx divided by R dash L. And what is this VGS? Because this is the intermediary voltage which we assumed, so we have to remove it using this formula, minus Ix R dash L, and the remaining formulas are there. So using this one, you can calculate the value of resistance RGD. You can do this analysis. It will take time, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can do it yourself. It is simple analysis. RGD means the resistance looking from the terminal, or you can say capacitor, CGD is Vx upon Ix. You can put the values, you will get this one. So tau GD due to the capacitor CGD is CGD into RGD. So you will get the tau due to this second capacitor is this one. So overall omega H, because we have only two capacitors, so there is two terminals. But in the assessment, I will give you the 3 capacitors or 4 capacitors. So here will be the term 3 or 4. But in this example, we have only 2 capacitors, so only 2 terms. Then we put the values of both tau, so we can get the value of omega H, or you can calculate the FH. Now, what is the conclusion of this one? From this, we can see that CGD means this CGD, this one, this CGD has more effect of playing the major role to determine the high frequency response. Because if you see the frequency here, this one has 1160 and it has only 80. So this one is more effective. So when you are calculating the tau due to the CGD, you have to be very careful, because if in place of 1160 you are getting 1000 or you are getting 2000, then the total value will be changed. So you have to be careful about the selection or calculation for the frequency response when you are calculating or using the CGD. So in the next lecture, I will explain the other 2 or 3 examples. Then you can go for the tutorial questions.